topic is the digital on-demand workforce. And we have two experts here. You probably know one of them. You might not know the other. His company was founded here. He's got folks here in Austin. We're going to start off with the CEO of Common Desk. I'd like to add one thing. Common Desk, the co-working space down in Deep Ellum, which is sprouted all around Dallas now, served as our volunteers, checking you in and doing all sorts of awesome stuff. So thank you for that. Please give it up for Nick Clark, the founder and CEO of Common Desk.
Physical, I wanna get physical. Let's get into physical. Let me hear your body talk. Body talk. Let me hear your body talk. Let's get physical.
Now, strangely, sadly, and very interestingly, he happens to be very good friends with his opponent. I don't know how that's going to play into it. They may actually go deeper and darker and personal, but we'll find out. Stephen Huerta is the founder and CEO of a company called Workify. Please give it up for Stephen. And he picked Rage Against the Machine for his intro. You gotta love that. All right, so the fight that we're teeing up, of course, is the digital on-demand workforce. The new model for collaboration, is it physical or is it digital? All right, Nick's gonna go first. Nick, you got 45 seconds.
Okay, so I'm obviously making the argument that physical workspace is still important. And here's why. So corporations are untethering their workforce left and right. Corporations like AT&T, they're sending people home. And once they go home, they're there for a couple months, they think it's great. But after a few months, they realize that productivity goes down, that their laziness goes up, and they become bored. And so here they come back to Common Desk. They knock on our door at Common Desk, and they realize that, hey, I need a community. I need people to collaborate with. I need a physical space to connect with. Walk in the door, they do the tour, they love it. They ended up signing up, and once they sign up, they start getting plugged into the community. Once they get plugged into the community, they start meeting a few people. Maybe they're a founder of a startup and they need a CTO, so they find their co-founder. They end up improving their product, they launch, things go great, they begin to grow.
And time. Thank you. Stephen.
Nice try, Nick. You know, the reality is, I think Accenture nailed it. You know, the modern workplace is over 100 years old. Completely outdated. You guys do a great job. You provide a better alternative to what exists in the past. But the reality is, the modern workforce is diverse. They want multiple ways of collaborating. The old model, this physical model, it's just too one-dimensional. The reality is, you know, we've all been frustrated in the workplace. There's distractions. It's hard to concentrate. It's hard to give candid feedback. And the reality is, the modern employee just doesn't want to work this way. They want a better way. And I think the fact that this is a digital fight club kind of speaks to that.
You have 5 seconds. You want to use them up or yield them to your opponent?
You know, I mean, I think the last thing I'll say is, you know, tools like CyberDust, there's a reason why, you know, these are being invested in. So I don't know what to tell you.
Well played, well played. Nick, 30-second rebuttal.
Well, first of all, Stephen, I'm not talking about a 100-year-old model here. I'm talking about co-working, which was invented 10 years ago. And we at Common Desk are even expanding upon that because now we feel like co-working is not just for freelancers, it's not just for startups and small companies, but once again, enterprise is starting to take part in it. And so we're expanding our services and trying to figure out a platform that makes sense for all companies because a flexible workforce is what everybody wants nowadays. You know, tech is a part of that, but physical space is very important.
And time.
Look, I'm not going to try to argue that you don't need an office. I think we'll all agree that you still need an office. The reality, though, is having a physical workspace is too one-dimensional. You need much more than that. The way that global business is done, it's 24/7, it's nonstop. The reality is you need better tools. Think about how you buy goods. Think about how you choose your restaurants. You use Amazon. You check Yelp. The reality is this is a digital-driven world. It's not a physical world anymore. Sorry, Nick.
And time. Andrew, you are the primary question asker for question number 1.
Yes, good debate there, guys. Seems like an either-or. We've got people out here who run their own companies. What do you suggest that they think about when they decide one way or the other? What advice do you have for them?
Nick, you're going to go first.
Well, first of all, I would say that if you run your own company, make sure you're making the right financial decisions. And so if that company is an early stage startup, stay flexible, stay nimble. Utilize apps, utilize the digital on-demand workforce, but do not go out and sign a 3 to 5 year lease somewhere, which is going to prohibit you from being able to do what you need to do as far as growing
time.
a company.
You know,
Stephen.
yeah, I would say that every dollar matters. You know, you should, if you're going to bootstrap, and that's the way that I launched my company, you need to be very careful with how you're spending your cash. And the digital tools that are out there, everything's in the cloud. There's really no need for a physical space. The reality is you can do everything you want to do digitally.
And time. Okay, guys, jump ball question. Anyone?
Second question?
I can go one. Actually, go ahead.
It sounds like you're saying that the physical space is good for the bosses to watch over you, and the personal space is better for the individual. How do you have something that's good for both?
Nick, 15 seconds.
So we do curate events. We have events for the bosses and we have events for the associates, and we try to make sure that everybody is lively and interacting within the space.
Stephen.
Yeah, I mean, the modern workforce wants flexibility, and I think that that's what's most important. You know, there's flexible work arrangements. There's a variety of different ways that you can accommodate both. And yeah, there's a time at which you're going to grow big enough and you need a physical workspace. But, I think the key to keep the modern employee engaged, there's got to be flexibility and there's got to be options.
Outstanding. And that's the fight. We're going to open up voting now, Jeevan. Nick Clark.